Morning, fam. At the end of the day, school is officially out for the summer. And this is the time where the teachers take your little chillins and they hand them back to you full time and say, all right, tag, you're it. And it's a time where teachers rejoice and they look more forward sometimes to the summer than even the kids in a lot of ways, and they should enjoy that. Some people say, well, teachers, they get the whole summers off, blah, 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 they shouldn't complain. Let me tell you something. Number one, most teachers have a side hustle. I'm a full-time educator. I'm also a full-time realtor, and most teachers do something over the summer to help ends meet. So they're just not just teaching and then not doing anything for 2.5 months. But the main thing is this: teachers have a way of carrying their students with them. And this is what I mean. Imagine if you have one child, let's say your own biologically. Imagine having 2 children. We're gonna do a little math game here. And if you have 2 children, imagine having 4 children of your own. If you have 4, imagine 8 or 16. We're gonna keep doubling. 32, 64, and let's stop on 128 children. There are some teachers, and at one point in time, myself too, that have around 128 students in their classes, high school teachers. Elementary school teachers don't have that many, but they have their own major issues. Imagine having 128 children that you had to take care of. And what I mean is this: a lot of teachers, because I know them, I've been an educator for 10 years, adopt those children as their own. They take on their weaknesses and try to make them strengths. They take on their emotional distress and try to turn that around to emotional strength. They take on those kids and all their issues and all their battles and all their wounds. Teachers, many times, take those personally onto themselves as they adopt those kids as their own. Imagine having 128 children. And then imagine after 10 months of having those children, you get a little break. That's why teachers look forward to the summer, and that's why they need it emotionally. Some teachers would wreck themselves. I'm being honest because I know them. Some teachers would wreck themselves emotionally if they didn't have the summer to look forward to. That's how much they take on these students and their problems, and it gets exponentially greater when you factor in Hurricane Michael and the devastation that Bay County saw this past year. So teachers are so important. This is how I know. Quick little story. Right before the hurricane, I'm at a new school, was at Mosley for 9 years, but New Horizons. There was a middle school age kid, probably about 6th grade, before school, and he was pitching a fit. I mean, he was having a major meltdown. And come to find out, the kid had just thrown up, and the administration told him, listen, man, if you're sick or flu-like symptoms, we're going to have to call home and get you back home, get you better. The kid was crying and pitching a fit, and what he was saying was, I don't want to go home. I don't want to go home, hysterically. All right? Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I was in 6th grade and there was a little bit of a fever about to pop up, boy, I was trying to stay home. A couple times, I know for a fact, I played hooky actually and tricked my parents, sorry mom, in order to stay home, because home was a place of comfort, home was a place of care, home was a place where I could chill and play my games or chill on the couch and get away from school. This kid had the opposite mindset. He wanted to stay at school even though he was sick, and this is why. His home was not a stable place. His tiny home had 10 plus folks living in it and only a couple bedrooms, and the utilities probably got cut off pretty frequently, and he probably had to fight and scrap for food many times, and his home was not a place where he felt safe and secure. So school was that place where he was going to be cared for and nurtured by his teachers and by his paras and by the mentor room, and get food and get snacks and get extra care and detail and attention to himself. That's how important teachers are, because some kids never ever get that, and we can get so isolated and not seeing that. We can get in our little bubble and not know that, and that's huge. That's huge. even at schools that we think have a higher socioeconomic status. I was at one for 9 years. When we'd go and take our football players to an FCA camp at Mosley, and they got a chance to share at the end of the day and sit around with their brothers, some of the stories you hear would make you fall apart and make you melt. And they did, as a grown man, make me melt. Some of the things these kids had to endure: abusive situations, situations where parents were forcing drugs on them instead of ADD medicine, for example, so they focus as 6, 7, 8-year-olds. And now the kid's dealing with addiction now. Stories of neglect, where a student was literally chained up underneath his own house in an abusive situation with his father. So many that I can't even get into now, that would shock you, that you don't know what's happening in your own neck of the woods, in your own neighborhood. And this is the things that teachers carry. These are the things that teachers can't let go of. They bring them home with them. These are the things they sit in their bed at night and stare into the ceiling fan, and they think about, and they pray about, and they distress over, because these kids are their kids. These students are their children. And so, teachers, my fellow educators, we love you, I love you. And take this summertime as a time to decompress, de-stress, recharge, because we know as educators it'll be a battle next year. And so we need to be well rested for that battle as we take on a whole new set of souls that can be impacted by education and by us. So, teachers, enjoy your summer. Love you guys. See you next time.